intro now. All right. And hello, everybody, and here we are with another episode of The Hard Shift. It has been a hot minute since we've done our last one, but there was things going on. There was like NPL qualifiers and PGL and PEL qualifiers, but now that's all behind us in the past. So,
yes,
naturally, I'm Matrym. I am joined by Porosaurus, and our two guests this time are Edakulous from Noble and Hypoc from Matrym Fate, who doesn't have a webcam because he hates me.
That's not true.
It's 100% true.
I was not given a brief. Okay.
Oh my god. These players, they're living in squalor.
I know. God.
I don't know. If I was at the mansion,
webcam.
I would have had a Sony A7 set up for this, a good off angle. The lighting would have been perfect.
God.
Well, here, I wasn't even gonna like go down that rabbit hole. So why tempt Fate mansions? What's this?
We got mansions?
Leaks? No leaks? No. It's just jokes, guys. It's just jokes. Naturally, that's gonna
have a Why Tempt Fate mansion.
One day. The only thing that would be great about it would be, you know how like sometimes mansions name their like own street, like their driveway. There could be just like a WTF Boulevard or like a WTF Avenue that you have to take to get in. That'd be amazing.
I'd go with Boulevard. It'd have to be Boulevard.
It just has a ring to it, doesn't it? WTF Boulevard.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It rolls off the tongue right.
It does. It's got that that equal amount of really bougie, but yet approachable. Yeah.
So one of the main reasons I wanted to grab
not like an avenue,
is the fact that we kind of have a little bit of balance. We have White Tempt Fate that's technically unsigned, and we have Noble that is signed, and then you guys.
What do you mean technically?
Technically.
What? Because the fact that you guys used to be signed, but you're not signed anymore. I'm not trying to bring up bad memories for you, man.
Jeez.
God.
It's still fresh. It still
burns. It hurts. But mainly, it's a good way to talk about what like the different paths, because like Edek, you guys had to take like this, like you had to go through the qualifiers, you had to go through everything else along those lines. Naturally, Poro and I cast you as we went. Like, what was that experience like?
Oh man, I tell you what, it was like an emotional roller coaster. Going through the open qualifiers, actually, I mean, we took first round 1 overall, first round 2 overall, and then third round 3, I believe, overall. So I mean, like we went in, we felt great. I mean, honestly, everything just came together. We meshed as a team. I think it was like 2-3 weeks before the qualifiers. We had Hambian on our team. Then he went to Lazarus, and then we picked up Fudge. So it was like 3 weeks. We got to get this team chemistry together. But overall, man, I tell you what, that was a rush.
It was actually, I mean, obviously me, well, the three of us, Matt and Poro, we actually had a chance to cast him. It was actually good to see how well Noble played in the qualifiers. Everyone was memeing about Noble circles, but there was a couple of games where you guys fragged out and actually were rotating like mad as well. So it's pretty good to see you guys like make the roster swap and do that so quickly, like adapting, getting Fudge settled and stuff, and actually still play as well as you did.
Little did we realize like what the I guess the qualifiers were going to be like leading into the preseason, because we had you guys that had your like frag out moments going through, and then we also had the first TriCast, which was totally unintentional because we didn't know we were doing a TriCast before that. I 100% swear. But so now on the other side of that, Hypoc, you got the joy of doing a little bit of casting for the first time. Did we annoy you too much?
I actually really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was good that we obviously did such a good job that OGN thought, you know what, we need to do a TriCast.
Yeah, I mean,
so we kind of set the standard now. That's crazy,
trendsetters over here.
It is. It's true. I got a question for you, Edek. All right.
All
right. So you and Boom, I think we brought this up on Cast last week. Two longest tenured signed players with the same org, right?
Yes.
How has it been? I mean, you've been with Noble for so long now. You've gone through so many different ups and downs and ups and downs. Where do you feel this team is right now as compared to at any point in its history?
Honestly, right now, it has been to the point where I can feel stress-free. I don't worry day to day how it's going to turn out in the next coming weeks or months. Honestly, it was one hell of a roller coaster. Yeah, from the very beginning, there was times where, some teammates were talking down other people, and it's like, look, the energy was really bad. You tried something else, made a new team, felt great, had that honeymoon phase for a while, and once that ended, everything just started downward spiral again. But now I'm to the point where I'm just like, I don't worry. I mean, everyone gets along perfectly, even if we do have we absolutely just completely mess up. No one's getting negative. It's all nothing but supportive, constructive criticism, if anything, but nothing negative. It feels great.
Why can't it be like that when we play Poro?
What?
We're always yelling at each other, getting all mad and whatnot.
That's not true.
We're just making jokes, yeah. Usually we're just bantering more than anything else. So now,
but no, I mean, I think that's interesting though, because it's kind of like, you've been through this process of you've been through the honeymoon phase, as it were. Like, God, how many times now? Because you guys have been there forever, so it's.
I mean, I still feel as if Noble haven't made that many swaps. What was the original roster deck? It was
the original roster.
You, Taro, Boom, and Daz.
Yes, yeah. That was the original roster.
I'm thinking, but it's probably only you've obviously Taro leaving initially to go. It would have been Totality, right? And then Daz stepping down. And then obviously Hambino leaving most recently. And you guys have been signed 2 years now.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, I mean,
then after
you guys
we picked up Calvin, the Chosen Zygote, and then then we had Godspeed, we had Master Nook for a little while, Natural, and then Hambino. So
of course, you were with Godspeed at Katowice.
Yeah,
I remember now. Yeah,
and I mean, so you guys were the first signed to org, and and you and Boom signed at the exact same time. So that was kind of where we had the little mishap conversation for a second, because for whatever reason, Por, you were saying the fact that you thought that Boom took some time off, right?
I thought he took some time off for competitive, but I guess I was wrong. So I think it was just because there was a while there where there just weren't.
I think that was during the Nobles. That was Nobles. 3PP is the way that competitive mode is going to stay phase, right?
No, it was.
I love the face. You could see it on a deck's face. He was like, "We don't talk." You could see it he wanted to smile, but he's like, "We just don't talk about that."
We're gonna hard commit to this TPP. But you had to make a stand, and you stood for what you did, and it didn't work out. You can't really blame me for doing that. So, but to be able to come back and then say, now you're in NPL,
that's been a long road, and it's been fun. I'll tell you that.
Well, so that kind of leads into the turnaround
transition
moment. Well, I just want to say that the turnaround moment was Noble was in not necessarily the best stage going into the very last round, and you guys needed to make a literal shit ton of points to get there, and somehow you guys managed to pull out. No offense intended, probably the game of your life. I don't think I've seen Noble play that frag heavy and that run and gun, and naturally managed to secure a victory there towards the end of it. I know we saw the interview and we saw the cams, but what was that like? What was that feeling like to know the fact that you managed to rack up enough points? And did you know that you made enough points, or were you still did we make enough points?
We calculated it before that last game, and we seen that we came up with I think we needed a top 3 with a minimum of 8, roughly roundabout, give or take. And I mean, we honestly played out of our mind. That adrenaline rush, I can't even explain to you. As soon as that game ended, I was shaking. I haven't shook like that in I couldn't even tell you how long.
Well, so I was shaking after casting it.
We'll tell. So walk us through the game, kind of. So you go in, right? You this is the last game. You kind of have. You have to do this in order to make it. Are you? Is everybody kind of on the same page? As what happens? What happens is going to happen. No matter what. Or is there kind of some sadness? Is there we're just going to be super hyped? And then as the game's going and playing out for you the way it does, what's your mindset as the game progresses and you see that kill count kind of going up and you see all the people dying and you're like, oh shit, we might have this.
It started off, we were kind of, I wouldn't say exactly all pumped up. We were pretty worried. nonetheless. And then as soon as that circle popped and we seen it was a milli circle, I was kind of like, not exactly what I wanted.
Where did y'all drop that game?
Lit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tried and true.
I wish they would have caught on the stream exactly all the shit that we went through to actually make it.
I remember that. Well, that was where there was like 4 teams fighting for boats right around Lip, wasn't it?
Well, we just kind of jumped into Noble at a specific point, and remember, it was like you guys already had 8 kills at that stage. By the time you guys made it to military base, or at least made it to that hill just south of the Eastern Bridge, that's whenever we first jumped on you, and you guys already had a pretty decent amount of kills. I don't remember exactly.
Getting to there was already. I couldn't believe we actually even did that. We got on a boat. We had a whole squad in front of us on a boat. We had YPG chasing us up and down the coast as we were trying to get away, just tagging us up. And I think it was STK that was in front of us on the boat. They parked just to the west of Novo. We ended up going. We were going to go wrap around southern tip of military. Where as soon as we started heading over there, I scouted up. I seen a whole squad actually about to where we were getting up. The whole squad was on the coast. So we literally, and we're in the blue at this time. We literally U-turned, almost out of gas, came all the way back to Novo, and basically kind of gambled on there's no way that team's still there. STK had to move, and went through at that same time. YPG was literally, or no, actually it wasn't YPG. I forgot who it was. But they pulled
so
up.
YPG were bridge camping us. So
Yeah, it was you guys and YPG. Someone else pulled up on the east side of Novo at the same time in a boat. We got in front of them. We actually seen you guys, Hypoc and YPG, on the bridge. We could have actually killed quite a few of you, and instead we said we need to get in position instead. Get in front of them, then we'll go from there.
Them some fighting words. We could have killed you guys.
Oh no, they were literally just totally focused on them with their backs exposed right there at the little crossroads right across the bridge. And we just literally got into the zone, and that's when the stream picked us up from there, actually, with all of.
So about what time was it that you were kind of like thinking, all right, this might be it, like we might have this?
It was the fight. As soon as we seen, I think we got a pick on one of the denial guys. As soon as we seen that, it was kind of like, this is going to be the make or break situation right here. They wipe us, we're done. We wipe them. I think we got it.
Yeah, that was. I remember that because denial was coming in from the north side, and they had been kind of controlling that north side for a while, and then you guys were coming in from the east and started wrapping around a little bit to the north. And I can't remember who you picked up, but yeah, they were kind of split.
I can tell you because Carbon's in chat just recounting this and throwing sad faces everywhere as we're going down memory lane here. And it's kind of interesting because we have naturally Hypoc, who I haven't had a chance to necessarily talk a whole bunch yet.
Yeah,
you guys are in a pretty good spot on the NPL leaderboards right now, so feeling pretty good, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't feel great after the first game, the first day. I mean, obviously coming out and winning the first game of NPL was like an awesome feeling. But I mean, the next 3 games just didn't go our way. There's still, I guess, a lot to be figured out in terms of like us kind of reading other teams, and it's difficult to kind of gauge right now because a lot of teams are obviously finding their feet with how they want to play in these settings as well. So the last 3 games on day 1 didn't go particularly well. I think we got 13th, 14th, 13th or something like that, and I think we only picked up a couple of kills along the way, which again, with these point settings, if you can go out 13th with 5 kills when your circle's screwed, like it's not so bad. But we definitely didn't feel good about the last 3 days, the 3 games. But yeah, day 2 was awesome.
So day 2 was great. Feeling good.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at kind of all, I guess, our LAN results with this roster, we've historically been better on Miramar anyway. Just because I guess it suits our play style a bit more. We have a higher tendency to abandon vehicles and just start pushing stuff on foot. So that kind of does suit our play style a lot more. I think these settings do make Miramar really interesting. Because you don't have the time or the opportunity after Circle 2 to make these long wraps where, previously we would make big wide wraps into like on a hard shift we'd make a big move into getting into the I guess the least congested area of the circle, and then kind of going from there. With this, it's kind of Circle 2, you position, and then from there it's like you fight for what you've got.
Well, there's a lot of teams that are still trying to do those long wraps, and you can see that it's just not working. I mean, Envy, for example, still trying to make those long wraps, and
and I mean, I guess that stuff after the first few weeks is gonna come less and less. But right now, I mean, even in the NPL games, you saw it where teams they're not being decisive enough. They're not taking the fight on edge when they have to, and then realizing they have 20 seconds to move like a kilometer for Circle 3, and then both teams end up dying to blue. You get nothing for it. In that situation, push the team, wipe them. You got your four kill points, and if you die, you die. Well, at the minute, there's too much of this kind of sitting edge and waiting for another team to make a move, which I don't think is going to work in this format.
You actually hit on two of the topics that I did want to hit at a certain point. Naturally, we got about 10-ish minutes or so before we probably need our 15 minutes, so I'm going to try to burn through them a little bit quick. Miramar games in the NPL are crazy good. What? Like, it feels like, honestly, Miramar is more energetic, at least on my side of it, and it feels like there's a lot more action, and I don't know, the pacing just feels different, and it's just really enjoyable.
That's what I was saying. I think these settings suit Miramar better than they do Erangel in some ways.
Well, I mean, even in the preseason, it felt like the NPL was just really fun on Miramar.
Yeah, I guess the thing for like looking at Miramar in kind of like the competitive meta is like the way that teams choose to play terrain, and that always makes it really interesting when you see if you're circle fucked on Erangel and you have to run through an open field, like there's not really much to watch there. I feel with Miramar, there's always the option for teams to take a fight when they're circle fucked in just terrain, when they haven't got compounds around them. It's straight up that kind of ridge to ridge fighting that you see. I actually like that action because it's better than just seeing people try and make a smoke wall and run across Pachinki Field or Gatka Field, and end up snaking. And don't get me wrong, in Miramar, there's still spots where people can prone in and get a top 5 placement and stuff. I just feel like the teams rotating on foot and taking the fights on foot is much better to watch on Miramar. And that's not to say I don't enjoy rotating on Miramar. Don't get me wrong, because it's there's always the opportunity for on Miramar more teams to be camping rotates, just because vehicles are so much more vulnerable going over the terrain. But I definitely think it's better to watch out like a high kill game on Miramar than it is on Erangel, because I feel like on Erangel it's get knocked out of a car and then crashing a compound and yada yada yada. I just feel Miramar produces better gameplay, even if players sometimes say
more tactics and strategy from teams. Yeah.
And what's your take on Dak? You kind of agree as well, or?
Oh, 100%. 100% I agree. I mean, the new settings, definitely, we haven't been able to practice enough where teams are still trying to figure out that, that super meta. But as far as you're saying, playing the terrain with these settings, because as soon as the circle pops, I mean, you've got to make another decision, like, instantly. Like, you have no time for hesitation.
And I think that's a big factor in the circle, yeah. Right now, it's just go. Like, you have to... Everybody's used to a little bit more lackadaisical early game, and now it's a lot more like go. So that kind of leads into the new circle settings. Like, naturally, not necessarily talking about opinions, but, like, how is, like, communication and team dynamic been affected by how the circle settings have come into play? Because, I mean, naturally, it's a big jump to go from what we were doing in the preseason to these new circle settings, and while it's great that they're fast, and you get... But it also applies a lot more pressure, like you were talking about, Edak, with those. You've got to make really fast decisions.
The team dynamic, I'd have to say, everyone has to pick up a little slack. Whereas, as far as the old circle settings, most of us would, more or less scout for people and players. Now, instead of finding the next route to rotate, now everyone has to do that. Everyone. Not just the IGL looking at the map and rotation.
I absolutely agree with that. I think that's key right now with how fast the decisions need to be made. It's not so much get to a compound and start shooting and stuff. With the timings, it's get to a compound, see where we can go in 30 seconds, and it's obviously it gets to a certain point in the game where like you're either making a decision to take a fight or making a decision to push somewhere. But it's very much there's more emphasis now on 3 other players on the team because there's no way the IGL can just end up scouting everything now. Like the macro wise, it's extremely difficult in these settings for an IGL to have a plan for every single circle or every single possible scenario.
Right.
And so do you think that makes centering a lot more of an important strategy versus edge play that we were seeing in early game beforehand? Because you guys were kind of alluding to teams getting caught on the edge, not taking fights, and then moving late. So you think that centering is a bigger factor, or do you think that potentially playing edge and being more aggressive and going after those kills and trying to get those points is still hyper valuable?
I actually, I might get bashed for this, but I actually think NA is an interesting one because there's been a lot of scenarios where you see teams center up and, they get gifted and they end up, getting either a win with low kills or a second place to a team that's ended up having to fight 4 teams to get to their spot. Mm-hmm. And especially with the way these work out, you can sit in a compound now that's dead center and, get 3 or 4 circles and you're not getting those kills. So actually, you're better off going out in 5th with 5 kills than getting a second with like 1 or 2, or getting wiped to the last team that's up. So we've been talking about it a lot internally, and like the situations where we have 1 or 2 people up and they have to make these stupid rotations on foot, and sometimes it's better to just say there's a team over there, let's go for a flush. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's almost circumstantially better with this format to say, if you guys can go and push and get 2 kills from that, or even 2v4 them, like coming from edge, that's always going to be a better scenario than sending it center now. Because, the snake in placement in this format just doesn't yield a good. It doesn't yield a good result over a long series.
I'll tell you what has been happening a lot here lately because of this. The edge teams and third partying has increased significantly.
Yeah.
When the team's fighting, you're not seeing people like knock one person and go for the next one or anything like that. It's literally knock, hurry up and get that kill, flush it. Insta flush. It's the name of the game now.
By the way, people keep getting on to me about saying flushing. That we're still using that term, right? Because they were just like, like everybody keeps talking in chat. It's just like, why is he saying flushing instead of thirsting? I'm like, that's the way PUBG competitive has always been. Something hasn't changed, right?
Fortnite thing. Thirsting is a Fortnite thing.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like the more viewership keeps coming up, people keep coming in and they're being like, "Why is he saying thirsting?" It's like, anger.
So would you say, in general, with the new settings and everything, it's not taking away strategy so much as it's forcing you guys to have to make your strategy and have to make your calls and plans much faster?
Oh, well, yeah, and I think the key thing for that is these circle settings actually more often than not will produce a decision that is, we need to fight this team, as opposed to let's outposition this, which I think is what is creating this better gameplay to be watched.
Yeah.
I think there's again, with whatever sample size you want to look at, there's a lot of scenarios where you could look at the same circles in the old settings and say, the good decision is to sit here and hold this hill. Whereas actually in this, it's like, okay, can we push up to that ridge, and third party those 2 teams that we know are going to be circle fucked on this next rotation. Like it's actually, I wouldn't say forcing teams, but it's actually way more tempting now to push out and shoot at a team that's 300-400 meters away that is going to be having to rotate, and they're fighting another team and they haven't got vehicles and stuff like that. Whereas previously, there are teams that would get by with very passive play and, just position their way into the top 5.
I've been
so it's almost like the new settings are doing exactly what they were intended to do.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And it's different. The difficult part comes from where, as a player, there's nothing more frustrating than when you're sat there thinking, why is that team not moving from where they are or taking the fight with us? Like, why are they still sat there doing that? And until kind of teams, I guess, and I'm not saying, what we say is the best way of playing the game is the best way of playing the game. But I think very quickly teams will catch on that, making moves and taking fights early when these circles pop is going to be much better off than sitting there and go, yeah, okay, let's move with blue.
Well, I think it encourages 2 things that we have seen a lot more of. One, early game skirmishes to actually disable vehicles. Like, you've seen people moving into positions not to go for downs, but to just pop tires on cars and stuff like that, just to run away and be like, haha, if you don't get the circle now, you're screwed, and then they just go running away, right? And then additionally, I think I like how it shows teams that move confidently, if that says anything. Like, it really rewards guys that like somebody that goes, okay, we're going to this spot, and people execute quickly, and then they execute on the plan effectively. Like, it's like, okay, we're going to move forward a kilometer and we're going to crash this building, and like they move right as soon as they see that they need to move, and then they execute off of it. And if there's somebody there, it doesn't matter, they're going to go for the fight. I think that's
exactly.
We're seeing a lot more braver play, I guess, is a good term for it.
And that's it. Yeah. Previously, if you would see kind of two teams that were like trying to hold each other out, or we're both playing like one side of the circle, and they had to move maybe 300-400 meters, you wouldn't see that fight break out until blue was moving, or if they got a knock. They were peeking and they got a knock.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like the teams that are going to do well, so they see that circle, and within the first 15 seconds before blues started moving, within 15 seconds of it popping, they're pushing that team because they only need to deal with it because they've only got 30 seconds once they've dealt with it to move. And these teams that kind of just sit there and say, we're gonna hold our edge. Like it's not gonna work over long term.
I feel like we've done something wrong, Poro. We're like doing analysis of PUBG on our podcast. This isn't the way this is supposed to work. We're supposed to be talking about Disney princesses and crap.
I could switch it up real quick for you if you want. Well, we only got a couple minutes left.
Well, I just want to ask one casual question, and Poro, you can take away with all the crazy questions. But I just want to ask what it's like being in LA, guys. Like, how are you feeling with it? Like, is it comfortable? Are you enjoying it, or is it like honestly, still raining?
Being from Louisiana, where I'm from, there's only a select few things to do. Over here, there's just so much to do, and on top of that, with our PUBG community, we're all so tight knit. I mean, living here with all your other friends that you normally play with, get to go do stuff all over. I love it, except for this rain that's been going on.
Nobody's drinking at all, I bet, right? It's just everybody is being good Christian children, and they're going and they're praying every night.
If that question's directed at me, then I was in that. Me and Edak haven't got drunk once since I've been here.
I haven't said anything about anything. But okay, so two questions in particular. First one, Edak, explain the frog.
Whoa!
I didn't even realize the frog was hiding back over there still.
Pepe, don't call it a frog.
That's Pepe. Okay.
Right.
You will not blaspheme on this podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
That guy right there. That's our good luck charm.
It certainly is.
Oh yeah, he comes with us to every event now. He's through the qualifiers. That's Will's Pepe and
Will's Pepe. Okay.
Oh yeah, and he was like, I got him set up. He's watching the circles. He's going to give us that luck. He's going to give us those noble circles. All right. So we can thank him for that. And
I needed a little bit more Pepe lore to figure out where like when Will whipped that shit out the first time and try to set it up on top of the computer desk. Did you just look at him? You're just like, man.
I know that we did that. And we're like, they're gonna let us do that. They're gonna let us do this. We'll see. And I mean, the camera guys come up to him nonstop.
Yeah, I was gonna say the camera guy loves him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, Pepe's gonna stay.
Well, there you go.
We're gonna get him a little noble jersey soon.
Oh, there you go. That'd be sick.
So okay, somebody in chat, hold on, just give me a heads up. I'm looking here, trying to figure out whenever I need to host, and I don't see that any of the streams for contenders is live. It starts in like 4 minutes.
Well,
right?
I guess because it's online, there's a delay.
So okay, really?
So there's gonna be a stream delay, I guess.
Makes sense.
But there should still be like the 5 minutes before it goes live thing, right?
Were they doing a pre-show or anything? Or they just going live with the?
Let's build up hype, right? And they just like it goes live, and then it like
8-minute delay.
I mean, these Russians are hyped as fuck to watch some PUBG.
All right.
That's all I know.
Which stream is it? So that way I can make sure it's right.
Play Battlegrounds.
Play Battlegrounds. Okay.
Oh, okay. So we got Mustache Dave in the chat. I'm kind of curious. What's going on? So is Don't Let Him Get You now Team Mustache Dave?
Yeah, is that official or what's going on with that, Dave?
Yeah, I was very confused.
All right.
More importantly, where are the juicy contract league? How much are you paying them?
Yeah, I know, right? How much are you paying Hypoc?
Big says the fact that the matches are starting for them right now. And OGN is also streaming it. Okay, so I'll let chat tell me which one. But Dave, contracts signed. We had Dave making moves.
Yeah, Play Battlegrounds is live.
I had one other question before we take off. Because I think both of you now have had this experience. I'm not sure about Edak. I know Hypoc you had. What's it like being interviewed after a game on that stage?
I don't offer. So I'm usually okay on camera and in front of crowds. That was the first time I've actually been nervous for an interview. I don't know if it's the seltzer effect or the audience, but it was a good feeling. It was a really good feeling. Especially to come out and do the interview on like the first game of NPL. That was a privilege, yeah. I had sweaty hands. That's how nervous I was.
I mean, it's one thing. It's one thing to say, you know, like, oh yeah, it's fine, it's whatever. But then once you actually get the fuck up there and it's just you and Seltzer.
Well,
all around.
Yeah, we have a running thing in our team where previously it was only really like kind of, I guess, me and Valier that would do interviews. So now the only conditions of Baha and Hetzor doing interviews is if we get 2 wins. So when we get the second win, obviously John absolutely went nuts in that first Miramar win. Obviously, it came down to the 1v1v1.
Yeah.
So we kind of forced him to do that one. But yeah, even Valier's a good one to gauge because the faster he talks, the more nervous he is.
To be fair, the Hetero interview was freaking adorable.
Wasn't that the cutest thing ever?
I'm so glad that you guys made him do that.
But he looked high as fuck. Everybody thought he was high.
Dude,
he hadn't blinked in like 13 minutes.
That's what I was telling everybody. I was like, come on. I was like, that guy right there is a holy roller. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. I promise you it's just because he did not blink that whole
His
game.
body is a temple. I doubt so.
Wait, have you been up there, Edak? I swear.
No, it was Will.
It was Will.
Yeah, I was going to say, you sent Will up.
It was Will for the last game. That's right. Okay. That's right.
I can't say.
But yeah, Seltza's definitely got that look in her eye. She looks at you and it's like, oh my god, I'm sweating. What?
And then she gets up there. She's so freaking.
No, she is. Obviously, the first time I met her was at the Hawaiian place when I came to eat with you guys.
Yeah.
That didn't really help, obviously, but yeah, I guess it's that's the most nervous I've ever been in an interview.
She's like my anime buddy. We go up there and we talk anime every single time.
Oh my god!
But I think it's probably because she's so good at her job. So
I mean,
that's fairly intimidating when somebody's that good at interviewing.
Yeah, when you're feeling nervous and you see this person that's just all casual, like, oh, this is any other day, and then all of a sudden you're just like, well, shit, that actually makes me feel a little bit more nervous. But yeah, okay, Edak, now you got to get up there.
Yeah,
working on it.
It'll be a thing. Is it gonna happen this week? You gonna walk up there? You gonna do
so.
Seltzer interview?
I believe so. I'll get to experience the Seltzer effect. Let's see what it.
You're in for a treat.
It's a thing. Like you sit there and you walk up and you're like, "It's be fine," and then you walk up and all of a sudden she's like got 5 questions planned to go deep delve in inside of your soul that you weren't even expecting, and you're like, "Oh god."
And none of those questions are. So how are you enjoying in LA? What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I hate you. I thought you were making a banter at me. I was like, sorry.
No.
I feel you guys with that stage thing. Whenever I had to do the closing ceremony for the preseason with my walk that I was doing and try to hype it up.
I've never seen anyone walk like that. That's the most effort I've seen somebody put into walking a straight line.
I know.
The walk was the best.
I was so nervous.
The best part was that they were
so nervous,
dude. About it. They were telling him before. They're like, "Dude, don't worry about it. Just do that. We're only going to be focusing from the waist up. Nobody's going to see your stupid feet." And of course, like they show it actually pan down, just walking down the.
It was like you were walking in time with like the words you were saying. Like a bad
you. That's what I had. I don't know what to do. I've never done that before. All right.
Oh my god.
Anything you guys want to say? Any shout-outs you guys want to give? Because everything's up and live, and we need to go ahead and throw it over to. I think it's which channel do you guys want me to put you on? OGN or Broadcast Royale? Chat. You say something while we're doing shout-outs. Edak, we'll start with you. What you want to say?
I just need to tell my mom I love her because I'm gonna have to show her the VOD. She literally called me and she's like, "When you do the interview, you gotta give one of those shout outs to me." I was like, but definitely to OG,
hi mom,
the staff, and you could tell they've been working their ass off to help us. So we really appreciate it.
Hypoc,
Edak.
Other one.
No, I was just gonna say.
Edak again, or
no. I was gonna say an Edak. I'm glad to see that you are supporting the OGN fandom out there. You feeling good? You feeling treated well? Your life isn't in shambles right now?
Oh, 100%. I mean, these guys are definitely working night and day to help us, whatever they can. A lot of the stuff that's happening that people are complaining about is out of their control. So bitching to them or about them is just not the way to go.
All right, I just had to throw it out there and get players in sight since I get so many angry messages on it. All right, Hypoc, your shout out time. Go.
Yeah, I mean, same again, just OGN. Second time I've been at an event with OGN now. Obviously, we had Korea last year, and we knew what to expect. They've looked after us. Looking forward to obviously making this a longer term thing and working with them obviously up until the end of the year, which would be nice. And hoping they obviously get some of the global, the regional events as well. It'd be nice to see them put something on that, the European players and even the teams from the other Pro League regions come and experience as well.
Well, we've got to throw everything over to channels that are going live. Naturally, make sure you guys keep an eye out for Team Dave. Is that what is the official name? Is it Team Mustache? Team Dave?
I think it's Team Dave. I saw a hashtag Team Dave on Twitter.
I'm gonna go with Team Dave. Naturally, also we have what could be the first rivalry in PUBG esports between Elder Wolves and Team Gates with the major teabags. But we're gonna go ahead and set up the
world
raid
holds its
/ host. But
I don't get shout outs.
Yeah, go ahead. Go, quick.
Come on, Par.
Jeez, I'd like to shout out Hypoc and Edak for coming and joining us and having
anytime.
fun with us. I want to shout out again OGN, all the fun people that take care of the boys and take care of us.
Wait, we got to do a shout out for Chow.
Shout out for Chow.
Definitely for Chow.
Dude, shout out all day for Chow. Chow and Winnie.
Winnie saves my life.
Winnie is ours. Winnie is ours. The players hate Winnie because she's like, no, that's the talent stuff. That's not you. Fuck off.
Well, it doesn't matter. You guys got hoodies and sweatpants and t-shirts and all that other stuff. You don't get Winnie.
Shit. Anyway, but and then shout out to Esquire and Lucy May. Kill it in contenders. Can't wait to see. Shout out to Team Mustache Dave. And we'll see you this weekend.
All right. Everybody enjoy contenders.